are seeking the way to raise his daughter well, and the the one example from the text in the page 53, he asked his company to the professional mother to how to raise child, but this professional mother even doesn't know that she's not confident about raising child also. So there is no right answer but raising child, but just believing in their children is the most important things to raise child.
So what you said is that there is no right answer and right way on how to raise a child. Sorry. So my question was, why does Barry won't let Moira learn how to spread her wings on her own? Well, I found a text from the book which says, "For a moment he suffered vertigo, and the cliff seemed to sway as if in an earthquake." So this line means Barry is afraid to let Moira go on her own, explore the world because of the uncertainty that surrounds the future, like drugs, that. So that influences. And another quote is when in the book it says, "Then unexpectedly the surface is smooth, the places where he could get a secure hold were spread farther and farther apart." So it reflects the difficulty Barry encounters in his life as a father and of a teenager, and how he monitors her daughter as a single parent. So it means that the secure holds on can symbolize the relationship between them, even though it's not really a good relationship between them. And Barry has trouble keeping track of what Moira is Moira is going on doing. Pardon. And yeah.
What did you say first? April's question is why the father doesn't let her go. Your first answer is from the text. Because there are lots of uncertainty future in the environment, so he cannot let her go. And the second is, as a single parent, he has to secure everything for her as her father and as her mother. He has to be both. Back to my question is, why does Barry know that it's impossible for him to protect her forever, but he still cannot let her give her freedom to do what she wants? Moira, she said, "Good fathers," she shot back, "don't think the worst of their daughters." And there's another quote. He said his daughter, 8 feet below, seemed so small that Barry felt he could lift her in his arm. He looked no larger, and he had been at 3. He has eaten a bottle. Anyway, for Barry, he thinks that his daughter, no matter how old she is, he still thinks he is as the baby in his arms. He can still carry her. And for Moira, she thinks her dad thinks that she always thinks the worst of his daughter. He thinks that his father thinks that she's not strong, she's still small and innocent. So I think that's why because his father doesn't realize, he is not aware of the growing of his daughter. He doesn't know the independence of his daughter is actually increasing. So he cannot let her go because he is not aware of everything surrounding him. That's why I think.
So for the next question is, where else do I example the people behaving or reacting the same reason? So I have a connection connection to my life, because my parent is a really overprotective person as well. Sometimes they too afraid that I'm gonna make mistake in my life, and they don't allow me to explore the world and to like they don't believe in me and don't believe in the ability that I could do. Just like Belly, the father in this story with the daughter, he want to protect her, but and communicate, but I think he do it in a really wrong way, because he can be with her all the time, and when she make mistake, he already assumed her ability of doing her job. And for me, I was it was really hard to convince my parents for me to study abroad in Canada, because they was afraid. But in the end, they still believe in me and believe in the ability of what I can do. It's just like when Bali finally believed in Moria of what she can do, and he just watched her carefully from behind. Um, and he know that she's ready to go. That's my connection with my life.
Sylvia said she's seeing some examples from her own life. She talked about how much difficulty she had while she was trying to convince her parents to go abroad for studying. And my example is my behalf again, because my dad used to put so much pressure on me, and then like 4 years of my high school, it was like literally hell. So yeah, well actually, and then I got like later on, I got some anxiety disorder problems. So like sometimes having too much pressure, like for example, it says on page 59, it says extremism begets more extremism. It's like really true, because it will just make your life harder and make your relationship worse and worse with your daughter or your son. So yeah, this is my connection with my life and the text. Okay, so what Damla say was like, so between her life and the story, they have connection too. So what she like went through was like she and her parents are having like difficulty of her life expectation, and well, this like what Damla say is connecting to my story too. Like so the example of the story for me is like same for me. I have my life is connecting the story too. So after my parents are also like really strong protection on me, and I came to Canada, and then after I got the distance from my parents, actually my relationship between me and my parents got better, because I could have my own space, and then I can take care of myself, and then my parents understood that I can take care of myself. So I think that like sometimes the relationship needs some like distance or some understanding, and it will help the relationship. Okay.
Okay, so you said like you and your parents' relationship got stronger, right? Okay, so my connection is that like us teenagers, it's normal to have protective parents like a normal teenager. So at this the same as yours guys, I also have like parents who are protective, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't do you have the rules, you're bound by the rules of your parents, but it's only for our own good to protect ourselves too. So like as we were younger, we were learning things as how to become a independent person. So it's like somehow people change, as what in the text says. Like Moira changed as an independent person as she grew up, and they don't always be the same. They don't always be a young person forever, and
And another connection is to accept. Parents should accept us of who we are, not who they want us to be. So yeah.
True.
So what you said is you want people you want our parents to understand the teenagers to accept who we are and give us freedom to that what we choose. I, as all the parents, there are most of the parents that are same. They're overprotective, and same as my mother. And in the textbook, Mora she wants to climb the cliff, and but his father isn't. Is not able to keep climbing, and then she wants to keep climbing there and there and there, and then her father said, "Oh, I'm gonna protect you up there and there and there." It's like all the way along. Same as my mom, and she. When I was in China, I always go somewhere with her, but and but then when I came to Canada and I went to United States, but when I fly somewhere and especially an international flight, she always she always asked me to call her when I get off the plane and talk to her every single day. It's like she cannot let me just do whatever I want to do, and I can't say she is too overprotective or she is just thinks I'm still a child, but she should. I mean, I always tell her that I'm almost 19, that I am an adult, so she should give me my freedom or my rights to choose my life, right? Yeah.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so like my parents were never like all super. Of course, they are protective, but not like too much. And especially, I was like mostly free. Like I could do anything I wanted, and I could, go anywhere I wanted. If I miss my flight, like I will just book a hotel by myself, and then I will just call them and let them know, oh, I'm okay. But then I think that there is some point like they realize that you're growing up, and then they want to be with you all the time. That's why like they are asking too much. They want to know too much. So like teenagers like us, we feel like we don't have our own space. So it's just normal, yeah.
Okay. So I want to add one more thing, because it's really normal that in our life as a teenager we have protective parent, but also it's our responsible to earn their trust as well. We have to have responsible and prove to them that we owe enough to take care of ourselves and to do our own thing as a successful person. This I have a connection to myself as well, because I feel like I grow up a lot when I go study abroad in Canada, and as my parents see that I'm growing, I earn more trust from my parents, and they time by time they trust me more, and they not too overprotective anymore. So that was one I want to add in.
Right now we are overprotective for Sylvia.
Okay.
So, why do people behave that way? So, as I was saying, from the parent perspective, why do they behave that way? It's because they just don't want us to go in the wrong track in our life. They want us to be succeed, and they want to make sure that we be safe. And this is really easy to understand, because as they born us, they just want the best for us because they our parent. And for the teenager, as a teenager perspective, I can see why they behave that way, because just like me, they want to have their personal space, and sometimes they feel that the over protective parent can take away their freedom, their space. So in order to improve the relationship, I think it takes from both way of the parent and their daughter and son to understand and communicate. So that's what I think.